Good afternoon, everyone, and I would like to welcome the members of the press who are interested and also our guests who have been here today as the V4 Hungarian presidency. It was quite a big honor for us that Madam Tyson, Commissioner, also accepted our invitation, and also Commissioner Oettinger and Director General Lázár also participate at this meeting. This was a working meeting, informal session, but no doubt that friends were meeting with each other. I would like to start out by telling you that we are always welcoming the commissioners of the European Commission, but Mr. Oettinger has been a long-time friend for us because as Minister of Land, he was always making sure that helping Hungary to converge to the level of the region and also to the center. He will definitely and hopefully keep this attitude of his because our cooperation is mostly important. The goal is to eradicate the social and territorial discrepancies, differences, and each and every European citizen should be entitled to a proper life of a European level. With this, we would like to provide a good quality of life on the whole territory of the European Union. Probably the Commissioner is not in an easy situation because it is for the first time in the history of the budget of the European history that there's going to be one net payer shorter on the contributor side, but there's going to be more, of course, on the revenue side. So there's going to be less revenues, but more tasks are allocated to that. But for this, we really need a very well-experienced politician from Germany who can resolve this problem. And today, we were also outlining another expectation, namely that we would like to see such a budget here in Central and Eastern Europe so that by next time we could also be net contributors. The Commissioner supported us in our endeavors, but the success is not guaranteed. I would like to tell you that at this meeting and session, the special ministers of V4 countries participated, Slovakian and Polish and Czech colleagues of mine, who I would like to welcome at the press conference. And this morning, we also had 4 other countries with Croatia, the Minister for Development, Romania and Bulgaria as representing the presidency, and Slovenia. So altogether, we could find out the view of 8 member states with regard to the next MFF, which is a major round of working discussions. But I would like to highlight that it was worthwhile to talk, it was worthwhile to come together and meet. This is the most important message of the day. On a Friday morning in gloomy, rainy and cloudy weather, it's probably not one of the best experiences you can get here in Budapest. Still, I can say it was worthwhile to meet, and I think that this discussion and meeting was very successful because now we can have a clear vision, namely the budgetary ideas of the Commission and between Hungary's goals and between the V4's financial goals. There's no fundamental difference whatsoever which could not be bridged. When it will be a proper budget, well, it depends on what the proposal will be. A good budget can be accepted quickly, but a bad one, there's going to be more debates. I would like to reiterate that this discussion and this morning has a very important learning point. First and foremost, we have to set the goals, what kind of Europe we would like to see. It's not that from the existing money, from the existing financial framework we have to depart from, but what is going to be the European goal, the European vision, what the Europe of the next 20 years will be like. For this, we have to raise money, and for this, we have to put together the budget. In this, we fully agree that we need a competitive, safe Europe which provides good opportunities and a good living standard for people living in Europe. In that, of course, in the focus is the economy-based approach, but we would also like to give chances and opportunities for the people. The budget's 4 important, or the budget drafting 4 important pillars were told by the Commissioner. So it is going to be an economy-based budget. It is also obvious that cohesion is badly needed in Europe, and also the common agriculture policy is needed for Europeans. We got reassuring answers that these policies can rely on the further support of the Commission. Of course, the amount and the form will be the subject of later consultations and agreement, but we agreed that these policies were exactly important to talk about. This is a win-win situation. With the cohesion policy, everybody was a winner, those who paid and those who used it. It's a very important learning point of our today's meeting, namely that every one of us who are citizens of Europe, we were the users of that. So Hungary was negotiating well in the debates before, and also the preparation of this this new one is still in progress. But I would like to say that we are encouraging the Commission to have a very ambitious budget, because we need new, fresh money for the new task. For a stronger money, we need more money. For more Europe, we need more money. This is, again, a learning point of today. And the 8 countries agreed with the increasing of the GNI proportionate payment, which is a major success of the day, because 8 countries opened the opportunity that the payments should increase even up to 1.1%. At the beginning of Brussels, commissioned by my Prime Minister, I said that we can go up to 1.1, but even up to 1.2. But I think 1.1 is absolutely okay for the other participating countries of today. What is a major expectation of these member states is that we have to reduce bureaucracy in Europe, and how to do the various procedures, and also the proceedings regarding the budget have to be simpler, faster, and cheaper. We would like to see guarantees so that the budget implementation should be cheaper, faster, and simpler. So cohesion is badly needed. It was successful, but it's not over as yet. The Commissioner stated that the cohesion policy has done some major results so far, but we not come to the end. We have to continue to this further on. We are willing to allocate some further funds, for example, the defense policy or some other things with which we can face the mounting challenges of the European Union. So now the Commissioner has the support of these 8 countries, which means that there will be some further meetings, consultations, constructing with positive and very professional meeting. This is what we had this morning, and the cloudy Budapest was very happy to host this event. Thank you so much. Now, Commissioner Oettinger, the floor is yours. Distinguished Minister, ladies and gentlemen, currently, within the European Union, we started to debate about the budget for the next 10 years, which is already going to be covering 27 countries. In May, with regard to that, I'm going to submit my proposal to the European Commission. And that is why each and every capital of Europe is going to be visited by me. Today I'm in Budapest, but also I try to consult with the governments and also in the parliament to make sure that I would be able to consult the stresses and focuses of cohesion policy with the member states. Today I had a chance to talk about the future of the cohesion policy with 8 important member states, and I would like to express my thanks for the Hungarian government, to Minister Lázár, for organizing this very important meeting in which the V4+4 countries were participating, organized. At this meeting, it was quite straightforward to see that the 8 member states have very similar interests. They have very similar expectations as well. And these 8 member states and the European Commission basically do not diverge in terms of their attitude to the cohesion policy. I am of the opinion that now today we can say that about 90% of the cases we can come to agreement. The European financial investments, 1/3 is that we are talking about currently. Currently, in the case of 28 countries, this is 150 billion euros, which are spent each year. And from that, 50 billion is going to be spent in the framework of the cohesion policy. It's very important that we resolve that also in an optimum circumstances in the future. If the UK leaves the European Union, then certain budgetary cuts will be necessary. Let's not forget that Brexit by itself is going to have an impact like that. But at the same time, I think that the two main programs, in the case of CAP, we mustn't curtail the ambitious goals too much, but there's another statement of mine, which I think is important, that there are some traditional tasks within the European Union, but in addition to that, we are also having some new challenges which are having more and more importance, like research, innovation, migration, border defense, and border control, and also the security-related issues and the research related to that, tourism and development policy. So that is why I'm extremely grateful for the 8 member states that they were willing to contribute a bit more to and going beyond our traditional tasks. We should be able to resolve some other tasks and duties within the European Union. Also, in the level of the GNI, we were so far expecting about 1%. So these were our most important revenues. But now we try to increase that, and now we have about 1.1% of the payments that we target at. The cohesion policy intends to follow many important visions. Currently, I would like to share with you 4 fundamental principles. So one is the competitiveness of Europe and increasing its economic power. Second is the question of solidarity. And the third is sustainability. And number 4 is the creation of external and internal security. These 4 topics, three out of these 4 topics, competitiveness, economic growth, solidarity, and sustainability, are very closely related to our cohesion policy. Well, cohesion policy also means that we have to devise very important investments into our infrastructure. But it also means that we are taking some important steps in the field of human resources, and we devise that with co-financing scheme. That is why it is very important that our cohesion goals are attained. It is very important that our colleagues and our programs could be modernized. And in the future, we try to simplify the currently existing legislative framework, and we would very much like to see that the added value should be present at the case of all these projects. And if we can prove it better, that this added value is present, because that's going to be a very good argument for the net payers that this cohesion policy is necessary. Let's take the example of Hungary. Where does Hungary come from and where is it going to? When Hungary joined the European Union back in 2004, you know, I've been a frequent visitor to Hungary since 1999, so I know that many things have happened in the past couple of years: infrastructure, industrialization, high-tech. And as a consequence of all this is that the GDP per capita has always increased every year, and now it is reaching the average of the European Union. So Hungary is now in the medium group of developments within the European Union. However, there are some other countries which back in the 1950s used to have the social market economy, social economy, for example, the command economy, like in Germany, where I'm coming from. And many of these countries say that the European single market, or because of the European single market, which is all covering 500 million people from the Balkans up to Sweden, all this is having a major impact on European infrastructure. And also during the integration politics, we will be able to make sure that, at least in the case of our children, there's going to be not such a big divide between the Eastern and Western European countries, or between the poor and the rich. If you look at the labor market, we can see that differences are getting more and more balanced. The GDP per capita in Europe is about 3,000 euros per year. In Luxembourg, it's 100,000. In Germany, 250. And in Bulgaria, it's about 680. This difference, however, could completely shatter Europe. So we would like to make sure that in Croatia, Hungary, and Bulgaria, the per capita GDP should be going up. It's therefore very important that also on the local level and on the national level, they follow such a policy which would serve for this particular goal. And this is what the cohesion policy, the Horizon 2020, and the CAP are also all supporting this. I think that today we all got richer with a lot of very precious thoughts. I will take these home with me. I will share it to my parliament and with my colleagues. I was absolutely delighted because it turned out that each and every member state from May onwards would like to have a very deep dialogue to make sure that before the European elections we could have a clear vision as to where we are going to. And it's also important that we send a completely important signal to our British friends that the euro in a very definitive moment is able to unite forces and is able to manage and do good governance. It's not only important for us to present it to the Brits, but also for us and for our partners.